backstage rituals for dealing with nervousness. Now, it's totally normal to feel nervous before you get up and do any kind of public speaking. Some people have a little, some people have a lot, but even after 30 years of doing The Tonight Show, Johnny Carson said that his heart rate went from 60 to 130 beats per minute just before going on. And that can actually be a good thing, gives you energy, right? You just want to make sure that nervousness doesn't undermine your ability to deliver and serve your audience. So, there's some rituals that many speakers do that can help your entire body-mind system just be in that kind of peak performance state when you step up in front of a group. So I'll share some with you now. A simple one is just, of course, to breathe. Try it now. Take in some low, slow, deep breaths. Another hugely important one is an intention to serve. Now, the number one reason that people get nervous is because they are being overly focused on themselves, being needy for approval. How am I doing? What are people going to think of me? So a simple shift of focus towards what kind of difference do I want to make for my audience members? You know, wanting to impact positive change for them. That can change everything about how you feel and how you're received by them. So your tone of voice can change, your gestures, your body movements, what you say. So setting your intention to what is most meaningful for your audience rather than you, right? And it can actually happen in one quick millisecond. So just find some quiet time to yourself for a few moments and just unconsciously see if you can tap into, I call it the group mind of the audience. Your unconscious, I think, can tap into their unconscious. I just make a silent intention to speak in a way that these particular people here today can understand and will speak to a core need of theirs. So saying the right thing at the right time, the right way. And every time I make that intention, sure enough, somebody comes up to me afterwards and says, wow, you said exactly the right thing, exactly the right way that I needed to hear it. So give it a try. It's very powerful. And of course, there is always the 7-minute speaker tune-up that you would do maybe in the bathroom or in your hotel room before you come down. And you can even be sitting in the audience doing some of them, waiting to get up to the front of the room. From having been years in the theater, you would never go on stage without warming up your voice and your body. So I do yoga, I do Tai Chi, I go for a walk or a bike ride. I just make sure that my body and my mind are connected so that I don't seem like a talking head. I mean, you've seen these people, right? They're just this talking head and they're sort of dragging their body along with them, right? Their body's just completely unanimated, and that's not great for people. So do that, whatever would just make you feel connected. And then the voice. Now, there's a million vocal techniques out there, but I'll tell you a nice, simple, easy thing that anyone can do, and that is to sing a song that you love. That's what I like to do. It doesn't matter if you can sing it well. Obviously, you might want to be driving in your car or up in your hotel room doing it, but sometime within, the hour or two before you speak, open up your voice. This will really lower your nervousness. And make sure it's one of those songs with a lot of variation in the song so that you go a little high, a little low, and just have fun with it. Get yourself in a fun mood. So that's another one, is just get yourself in a fun mood. There's nothing worse than an overly serious presenter. I mean, yes, if you're speaking at a funeral, maybe that's appropriate, but most of the time a little bit of playfulness is great, and that can come across in your demeanor. So I like to joke around with a few of the audience members or the organizer. I sometimes listen to comedy on my drive there. Sometimes I dance wildly and in a silly way in the bathroom or backstage, just to, lighten up. And then the final tip is prayer. There are many people who do a prayer before going on stage. And so depending on your faith or your belief system, you just need to find something that would work for you. I do believe that there is this higher intelligence that can actually speak through me and that if I willingly connect to it beforehand, will come forth, and that can actually make this nervous part of me calm right down. Now, the late Brew Joy, who was a writer and speaker, talked about the multiplicity of the selves in his book Avalanche. He had this self he called Simple Brew, who was not complex, who enjoyed walks, TV, and the ordinary things of life. This part of him, however, was actually kind of without resources when it comes to expanded awareness or the ability to inspire an audience. And he said Simple Brew would become very anxious when preparing for a speech, because Simple Brew knew he had nothing to give an audience. So after about 5 minutes of hearing Simple Brew complain, he noticed this other voice kind of pop up that would say, "Don't worry, you're not the one giving the speech." And then Simple Brew would become very relieved and would actually dissolve away, and this very different part would come forth just before he would begin to talk. And he called this part High Brew. And he said, when that happened, he says, my vocabulary changed, my body language, the character of my voice, everything. He said, I'd experienced this kind of richness and resourcefulness of being a teacher, and one who could be filled with the inspiration of spirit, of the mystery, with the clarity of thought and the extended awareness and capacities that could really move individuals to greater potential. So find your version of doing this. You have that part in you too. You have your simple self and your high self. So addressing that higher presence and whatever wording works for you. And you could say something like, dear higher self, help me to share my gifts in the most powerful way possible. Help me be confident, grounded, connected, authentic. And even if you're not a spiritual person, according to neuroscience research, calling forth the best part of yourself can actually change how fully your brain is engaged in the process of speaking. So whatever your method is, speakers with some kind of backstage rituals, they do tend to have far more success than those who don't. Thanks for listening.